Welcome back, guys, to another video on the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Today's West Ham video that I want to talk about is the long-term future of Sebastian Haller, whether he does have a long-term future at this football club after the recent snub from David Moyes. But before we get into that, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button for more West Ham content. Now, the decision to drop Sebastian Haller against Aston Villa, divided opinion. You could go on Twitter, you could go on any YouTube platform, and a lot of people were happy to see Haller dropped. A lot of people were happy to see, Antonio come back in. And a lot of people were thinking it was a harsh to drop Sebastian Haller. And what side of the fence did I sit on? I sat on the fence that it was the wrong decision to drop Sebastian Haller, because the thing you've got to think about in regards to Sebastian Haller, if Antonio gets another injury, which is very, very, very likely to happen, David Moyes is going to have to rely on Haller to come in and to try and do a job. Now, Haller knows that he does not have the full confidence of David Moyes. And I've agreed with 99% of what David Moyes has done so far this season in regards to tactics, in terms of the only negative thing you could probably look at is his substitutions. But even against Aston Villa, 45th minute, he brought on Haller and he brought on Ben Rama. So you could say he is probably slowly trying to be proactive, then adaptive to the opposition. However, his decision making in terms of dropping Haller was just so wrong that I generally couldn't believe it. Now, a lot of people will go to the fact, well, Tottenham don't drop Kane. Tottenham don't drop Kane. However, guys, the thing, if Kane was injured and then someone comes in, then Kane would play. But the thing is that I couldn't quite understand is that we've paid 45 million for Sebastian Haller. We've paid 45 million, and we need to try and make this transfer work. Otherwise, we're going to be put into another situation, another scenario where we're going to have to ship out Haller on loan to a foreign club, to a club overseas, to hope that he regains his confidence and the hope that he can come back and either that we sell him or he'll come back into the team. Now, I understand that Sebastian Haller was a Pellegrini signing, and David Moyes probably sits on the fence that, not that he doesn't care if Haller works out, but if it doesn't work out, he's not too bothered because it wasn't his player and it's not a reflection on him. And of course, signings are reflections of managers. Signings make or break managers. So David Moyes is in a good position, because if it doesn't work out for Sebastian Haller, it doesn't reflect badly on him, because he could just say, well, he wasn't my player. I didn't pay 45 million for him. He doesn't fit the system that I'm trying to bring up West Ham. He doesn't fit the philosophy, so it's not my problem. It's Pellegrini's. He's not my player. I want him gone. And, West Ham need to try and make this transfer work out. That is why we need to put him in a starting 11 when he's building confidence. Now, he scored a goal against Madagascar. He scored a goal against Madagascar on his debut for Ivory Coast. He played against Liverpool, okay? He's only made a handful of, starting appearances. Liverpool, Fulham, Sheffield United. And as each game has sort of progressed, he has got slightly better. Now, the first 20 minutes against Sheffield United, I thought he was shambolic. I really did think he was poor. His first touch was dreadful. No one was getting close to him, but even then, the ball was just bouncing off him and he wasn't protecting it. He wasn't drawing fouls to try and get us up the pitch. And the first 15, 20 minutes, he just was not good enough. However, he did progress. And guys, we've got to remember, it does take some time. It does take some time to sort of adapt, to sort of get back into the team, get back into his rhythm. Because before the Liverpool game, whilst he did come in for a lot of stick, in the Liverpool game, and rightly so, because he did not play well. But we do have to remember that was his first starting game before the actual first lockdown against Arsenal, where we lost 2-1. The last game before lockdown. That was the last time he started a game, was Arsenal last season before the lockdown. So it does take time to adapt, and I feel like as every performance, whilst he probably couldn't get any worse, he is slowly building up. And for me, he should have stuck by him. He should have been like, you know what? You scored a winning goal. You was creating chances for Thomas Soucek, who could have pulled the ball back to Jared Bowen. I'm going to stick by you. And it is very telling that David Moyes actually would have preferred a 60 to 70% Antonio to play this game against Aston Villa rather than a fully fit Sebastian Haller. And Antonio, he was put in a position where I don't think he trusted his hamstring. You could see the runs he was making. He wasn't going at it 100%. He was on the cautious side. He was sort of doing strides at 50%. There was a time where he was about 10 yards in front of Matty Cash. And Matty Cash, whilst he is quick and Antonio was quick, with Antonio being like 5 or 10 yards in front of him, you would expect Antonio to actually get to the ball. But Matty Cash got to the ball because Antonio just slowed down his stride. He just did not trust his hamstring, and he couldn't get into the game. And we could tell that he was thrown in the deep end. He was thrown in the deep end against Aston Villa, and he was not fully fit. And Haller comes on at half-time, and it's very easy, very easy. You know, people criticise Sebastian Haller for his work rate, how hard he works off the ball. He looks, he doesn't look interested. And he could have quite have easily come on against Aston Villa, thrown the white towel in, and been like, you know what, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do at this club, because if I score goals, if I create chances, if I work hard, when Antonio is back fit, then he will start. However, Antonio, he rolled his sleeves up, and it was the first time in a while, whilst the performance lately have been improving, that he was working very, very hard. He was tracking back, Douglas Luiz, who was the deepest midfielder in the Aston Villa midfield. He was tracking him back, trying to, unsettle him on the ball, trying to put sliding challenges, try and put him about, try and getting into the box. He was trying to make wide runs. He was trying to hold the ball up, and he was being a centre forward. Every bit of that 45 million we was trying, that we spent on him. He was fantastic. He was being a menace for that Aston Villa defence, and he could have easily thrown the white towel. And I feel like that does actually show his attitude. And I know it's something that he gets criticised a lot. He doesn't look like he's interested. However, against Aston Villa, he looked like someone who wanted to fight, someone that wanted to be at this club. And there's a lot of talk about whether Haller actually wants to be at this club because of the way he celebrates. He used to celebrate with that sort of arrogance, that sort of, well, I score goals, it is what it is, at Frankfurt. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new in regards to his celebration. But he put himself about, and I was very, very pleased with, with how he played. Now, let's go on to sort of, again, David Moyes in the sense of Joshua King. Now, it's well publicised that David Moyes wants to make Joshua King his first signing, or his top signing in January. Now, this is a player that we was previously linked with in the summer, and he was linked with Manchester United last January. So, to go from Manchester United to West Ham, because of Bournemouth have been relegated, is pretty telling. Now, the guy is 28 years of age, so he is getting into his peak years of his career. Antonio's not getting any younger, 30 years of age, and this is why West Ham have been putting off his contract because of his injuries. They've been putting off his 4 or 5 year contract when he should only really get a 2-year contract because of his injuries, because of his age. And Joshua King looks like it's David Moyes' main man. I feel like David Moyes is banking on the signing of Joshua King, and that is why I think that was one of the reasons why he put Haller on the bench against Aston Villa, because he feels like long-term that he's not going to have him. That the first possible opportunity, whether it's a loan deal, whether we sell him for a reduced fee for like £20 million, £25 million to whatever club overseas, because realistically, I don't see another Premier League club coming for Haller. I do see him possibly going back to Frankfurt or someone like that, or Monaco, for like £20-25 million, and we would have to take a huge hit. But I do think that David Moyes is relying on the fact that Joshua King will become a West Ham player. Now, the reported fee is supposed to be around about, £10 million? It's a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money for someone who's only got 6 months left on his contract. Now, there's a lot of clubs that are looking at Joshua King. There's apparently a couple of Champions League clubs. Whilst I don't think the Champions League, whilst I don't think he would be starting for the Champions League clubs, he'd probably be a squad player. He does offer something to West Ham in terms of we wouldn't have to change our style of play much. And when Antonio plays, when Haller plays, we do have to alter the way we play. They're two completely different strikers, and they're the focal point of the team. Antonio likes getting into the channels. He can hold the ball up as well. You could be a little bit less unpredictable in terms of the way you play your attacks. When Haller plays, you're a little bit more predictable. You've got to try and get the ball into his chest. You've got to get the ball into his head. You've got to try and win flick-ons. So in terms of that, when Antonio plays and when Haller plays, it's light and day. We're less predictable with Antonio. We're a little bit more predictable about the way we play with Haller. Now, with Josh King coming in, he would be a pretty much like-for-like, replacement if Antonio was to get injured. And he also offers cover on the left, and he does fit the core morals and the core, philosophy, the attributes that David Moyes is trying to instill at this football club, and that is hard work. And you've got to be able to work hard before you can even, play. It's something that a lot of managers are looking at. It's not just your technical abilities, but what are you like mentally? What are you like attitude-wise? What are you like for the team before you can actually do your technical stuff? What are you You know, before, you know, all the technical, you know, ability that you got, the prowess, the through balls, the killer instinct. But what are you like as a person? What are you like, you know, around the dressing room? And that is something a lot of managers do look at before actually signing a player. Before they actually look at how good he is technically, what does he offer outside outside of a football pitch? And Joshua King does look like his #1 target. And I do feel like it shows that he's probably banking on Joshua King because he would be a like-for-like replacement for Antonio. He'd provide cover on the left-hand side, played a lot of left wing for Bournemouth, and he probably thinks, you know what, he's probably a long-term replacement for Haller. Now, who should start against Manchester United? For me, it's Haller. Haller's got to start against Manchester United. Antonio's still not fully fit. And even if he was still fully fit, I still believe, just like any other position on the pitch, injuries are part and parcel of the game, okay? Injuries are part and parcel of the game. And the person that comes in, if they do well or if they are scoring goals, then the other person who was doing well before they got injured has to work hard to get back in that team. Now, a perfect example is Balbuena. Now, Balbuena is not rated by David Moyes apparently in the summer. Was one of those players that if we got an offer for him, he would probably be, you know, willing to let go. However, Diop was, you know, unfortunately got COVID for 2 weeks, and Balbuena come in. Now, Balbuena's been fantastic, and instead of Diop coming back in at the first, you know, time of asking after returning, Balbuena's kept his place, and that should be exactly the same as Haller. Now, Haller come off a goal against Madagascar, come from a goal against Sheffield United, and he played very well when he come on the pitch against Aston Villa. So for me personally, we have got to be starting Haller. Whilst Antonio, even if Antonio was fully fit, I'd still be starting Haller because I feel like we have to keep his confidence. We have to keep him, you know, it's all about man management. And I feel like the man management that David Moyes, whilst, you know, the players apparently really, really love him, you know, not every single player is going to love you. And I'm pretty sure that Sebastian Haller, you know, David Moyes is not in his good books. He's not in his good books because any striker in the, you know, in the world, right, would be fuming the fact that they've come off a goal, a winning goal, a very good goal, created chances, could have possibly got a second goal against Sheffield United the previous week, and then the next game they're probably thinking, right, okay, you know, I'm going to start this game. The first time of asking that Antonio is available after only training for a couple of days, he drops to the bench, and I think that's very telling. And obviously Sebastian Haller, he's got to be realistic. You know. You could have said, why should he work hard? Why should he work hard if you know, Antonio comes back in? But, you know, he proved me wrong. I was expecting a lousy performance from Haller when he come on. He proved me wrong, and he proved a lot of people wrong, looking by the comments, etc. So for me, Haller's got to start against Manchester United. I'd start him, and I'd look at bringing on Antonio within the last 15, 20 minutes if the game isn't going our way, or even put them both up top. But for me, we have got to we've got to give Haller a chance, you know. It takes time to sort of build up rhythm, and I feel like when he was building up that momentum, that rhythm, the first time of asking, we've brought him back down to earth. We're like, no, you know, shattered his confidence kind of thing. But he proved me wrong, and I'm very happy with that. But guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Does Haller, put this in the comment section, does Haller have a long-term future at this football club after the recent snub from David Moyes against Aston Villa? For me, I feel like David Moyes is banking on the transfer of Joshua King, and we could possibly see a summer exit for Sebastian Haller. I think, you know, unless an offer comes in from a club in January, like a 25-30 million pounds, then I expect Haller to be at West Ham. But then it could also be another scenario. If we sign Joshua King, who could play as a striker as well, Haller could be moved out on loan, especially if he's not getting the game time. If Antonio comes back into a team and he's back to that, you know, form, then Haller's only going to be on the bench, and he's only going to be, you know, based off, you know, previous, you know, experience. He's only going to play 5 or 10 minutes here and there, you know. And, you know, he could be another Anderson. We're going to have to ship him out on loan. And look at Anderson. He's not even, you know, it's not worked out for him. You know, the Porto manager isn't playing him. And even at Porto, the idea of him going to Porto was to sort of build that confidence, to sort of at least maintain his transfer worth. And since he's gone to Porto, it's just going down and down and down. West Ham don't want him. Porto don't want him. And he's kind of in limbo. So we don't really want the same situation to happen with Haller. However, I do feel like David Moyes is in that camp where, you know, because it's not his signing, it's not a true reflection on him. At the end of the day, it's just under a poor signing by Pellegrini, 45 million. You know, 45 million on a striker. So I feel like David Moyes is. I wouldn't say he don't care. Isn't you know, like the right word, but you know, it doesn't matter if he doesn't work out, because you know, for him personally, it's not a true reflection on him. He can say he wasn't my player, doesn't fit my system, wrong kind of signing. We need Josh Kim. But guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Guys, it is December. A lot of content to be made regarding West Ham. Loads of post-match, match reactions. Loads of pre-match, reviews. Everything West Ham, transfer news. We are leading up to a busy fixture congestion, as well as January, which is the January transfer window. So, guys, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe for more West Ham videos, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.